Skillshare today. For some of you who doesn't know, her name is Donna, and today she's gonna talk about mindfulness at work. Later on, I'm pretty sure that she's gonna introduce herself as well. But before that, I just want to tell you about the events that we're going to have at Hubud, because actually at Hubud, event is like our DNA, and we have a lot of events here at Hubud. We believe that events is also a good platform for us to kind of like connect people to network as well with the others. So that's why we have a lot of events, and we believe that in the beginning that events can bring people all together. So this is part of the events that we usually have every week for Skillshare and also Bali Bungkus. So for some of you who are interested to do this, feel free to let me know or Hannah know. We're more than happy to set up the dates with you and then let you know more about how is it going to be like and anything like that. Anyway, so for the next event that we're going to have, so on tomorrow, Friday, we're going to have karaoke night. So at Hubud, not only a learning event, we also have a social events. And part of our social events, we usually have karaoke night. We had beer pong tournament. We had members lunch, all those kind of stuff, because we don't want you guys to come here to only work, but also network with the other people. So tomorrow, karaoke night, if you happen to be here, it will start at 7 p.m. And that event is open for public. So for some of you who have some friends outside and want to bring them here all together, meet the other people as well, feel free to invite them to come here. It will start at 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. So better be here, meet other Ubudians and other people around Ubud. And the next event that I'm so excited about as well is Pecha Kucha. For some of you who doesn't know Pecha Kucha, what is Pecha Kucha? Pecha Kucha is an event that is originally from Japan, and we buy the license from them for it's been 6 years that we had these events already, and the next one will be our 37th Pecha Kucha. So every year we always try to have at least 4 Pecha Kucha, and it's going to be our 3rd Pecha Kucha this year. And the next one, we already have a team, which is sustainability. So all the speakers who are going to talk at this Pecha Kucha are going to talk about the sustainability, not only on environment, but also on your business. So if you're interested, feel free to check out our Facebook today, because we're going to start updating the events today and start promoting who's going to speak at Pecha Kucha, because we're going to invite 6 speakers there. So if you happen to be here September 25th, feel free to come and join us. It's not going to be at Hubud, because we always have it outside Hubud. We've been partnering up with this restaurant called Betelnut Cafe. It's on Ubud Raya. So this one is open to public. Bring your friends, get to know more about the sustainability life, and yeah. So maybe should we start? Donna, are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, give applause everyone to Donna.
Thank you, Kashfi. And I can vouch for the karaoke. It is so much fun. I did it last year, remember, with Lily? So much fun. Can really recommend coming for, it's just a lot of fun. So firstly, welcome everybody. Thank you all for taking the time to be present here today. My name is Donna Grace. I'm from Australia. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm probably one of the original nomads. I started a digital business in the year 2000, and it's enabled me to come to beautiful places like Ubud and run my business. And I'm passionate about all things that relate to body, mind and spirit connection, really. So my company in Australia is corporate. We go out to workplaces and we do things like workplace massage, mindfulness and also workspace environment. So today is all about mindfulness at work. I just really want to focus on making it a sort of fun, interactive program for everybody. So it's about like some practical stuff and just a bit of background as well. So I just want, if possible, to start in pairs. I think we've got even numbers, have we? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, no, we've got 11, I think, is that right? Or are you joining in, Kashfi?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So just amongst yourselves, if you could just discuss, just have a short discussion, just a couple of minutes on actually what you think mindfulness is. So just a short discussion in a pair about what you think it is, and just a couple of words about what you hope to gain from this short introduction today, because it is a 1-hour introduction into mindfulness at work. Okay, so I'll just leave you to just do that for a second. Just amongst yourselves, just have a little discussion. Choose a pair, maybe Jazz and Kashfi. Yeah.
I know, sorry. I just felt it was last week. Before I cannot do it. But it's, I don't know. Yeah, well, it's not super scary. It was super actually. It's only like when I'm working or dark. I can go super slowly.
Hannah, can you help me with this? Oh, it's right. Okay. It's right.
So, what do you think?
There's a couple of videos that he's put on here for me, and he said to just go up and access them, but I can't see because it's not on this slide. It's on a separate program. It's just in YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Do I
So if we just go like that,
escape? Okay. And then go up.
You can go to YouTube.
He
Right?
said to just go up.
To just go up.
Oh, it's in.
He says on the slide. So
Yeah, he said just go up and it should come. Oh no, let me go to some stuff.
do you know? Otherwise you just go to YouTube and
No,
select
too hard. I've got them set up. He set them up for me. I'll get cash fee.
okay.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
Sorry, it's all right.
That's all right, darling. I don't know what I'm doing either. It's all good. It's all good. We'll just go with the flow.
Go
Just go
there,
back.
so
Yeah.
then maybe you can.
I'll get cash fee to do it.
Well, no, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry, I couldn't.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. Has everybody had enough time to? Some people still finishing off. It's okay. Some people. So, thank you. Kashfi, I'm going to need your help in a minute, darling, please. Just up here. Okay, so with that discussion, what I'd like to do, please, is rather than, it's going to take a bit of time to go around and everybody introduce themselves, but if we can just choose one person from the pair who would like to just speak and to say just a little bit about what you collectively thought, that, you know, what your definitions of mindfulness, what you think mindfulness is, and just a couple of words about what you'd like to get from today. So if you like, we'll start over here and just introduce who you are, your names. And then, as I said, just a little bit what you think mindfulness is and what you hope to gain from today.
Okay. Hey, my name is Juan, and well, I really don't know what is mindfulness, but what I'm looking for here is to be more concentrated, because for me it's like easy distracted. When I'm working, I see, I don't know, a monkey, a fly, or whatever, and spend 30 minutes thinking on this. And I really need to be more, my mind in the place where doing what I should do.
Lovely. And what did your partner, what did he?
I don't listen too much, I don't know too much English.
This is good. Oh, that's good, sweetheart. Yeah.
So I remember he told me he know more about the mindfulness and to be on the body and present.
Good. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. I will just go pair by pair, otherwise the time will go too quickly. So.
So Kashfi and I work together. So mindfulness to us is about being present in the present moment, and conscious of the little things as well as you move throughout your day. And in terms of what we hope to get out of it is just practical tools.
Fabulous. Yep.
Yeah, and refresh our memories.
Great. Thank you.
Jazz and I discussed mindfulness, and Jazz is aware that she chooses to be aware and in the present of what's going on within her and without her.
Mhm.
And for example, she gave a, when she eats, she wants to be conscious of her chewing and the taste of the food. And my thought about mindfulness is that between the stimulus and the response, that we're apprehending the stimulus and the response, and there's a moment of consciousness when we choose what our response is, and we can choose that response to be kindness and even service, to be present and to be even a bit detached in our observation and a choice.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Beautiful.
We really had no idea what mindfulness is. That's the reason we're here.
Great.
You know, we hear it a lot at, you know, in Holland at work, but
Yep.
we've
Mhm.
never done anything with
Excellent.
it or read about it, so that's why we're
Fabulous.
here.
That's great. Lovely. Okay. Excellent.
Shilpa and Sophia. Yeah, Sophie and Shilpa. So we were discussing about how mindfulness is about being in the present as well as being completely aware of your body, mind, thought,
Mhm.
your senses, you know, internal and external senses, and observing it, be an observer rather than fully engaging, you know, having to engage with it actively. So that's what mindfulness is, what we discussed. And I'm curious to see how mindfulness can be applied. What are all the existing tools at a workplace? And Sophie wants to see how she can concentrate more at, you know, what's being done so that you can bring in efficiency.
Sure. Beautiful. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patricia and she's Lisa, and we kind of have both agreed that it's kind of a little bit the same things that they said. Mindfulness is just to be conscious of what is going on somehow around you and to be aware of the present moment. And yeah, definitely we would like to know a little bit more how to really deal with that in a working area,
Good.
because there's sometimes some noises that you can have even personally or just around.
Sure. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And the beautiful thing about mindfulness is you cannot get it wrong. There's no right and wrong to mindfulness. So thank you so much for sharing. Everybody's sharing was exactly about what mindfulness is. So I'm just going to go a little bit deeper into that. So Kashfi, can I get you to put on the video, please? I'm just going to start with a very fun animated video about mindfulness because it just says it really well. It's quite short.
Welcome to Mindfulness Animated, a fun and helpful explanation. The brain has evolved so great that it spends much of its time solving problems that haven't yet occurred in the future, thus leading to anxiety or panic, and mulling over events that have passed, leading to depression. Often it does both, all the time. The question is, how can we make our brain stop and think about only the present, the state we are in, when we are in the zone or in the moment? Mindfulness is derived from Eastern meditation, a practice of for thousands of years recognized to help humans control and tame our brains. Research has shown that among other things, meditation can help depression and anxiety, reduce stress, reduce pain, while improving concentration and giving us more energy. Meditation has also been shown to improve relationships, increase creativity, boost immunity, and may even prolong life. The question is, how do you do this? Simple. This three-step approach is all you need. For 15 to 25 minutes every day. Number 1, sit up. Number 2, close your eyes. Number 3, concentrate on your breathing or repeat a sound or word. And each time you notice that your mind is wandering, bring your thoughts back to your breath or sound or word. And if it wanders again, just bring it right back. Keep doing this until your 15 minutes has passed. I would use a meditation timer app on your phone or any timer. The more you do, the easier it gets. Many people notice their breathing slow during mindfulness meditation, and sometimes respiratory rates reduce dramatically, but this often confers benefits of mood and anxiety. Remember, each day will be different. Some days will be easier than others. Over time, you will notice that your mind wanders less, or that you can control it more as you begin to accept that it naturally wanders, but that you can bring it back to the thought at hand much easier. Once this happens, you will notice how much more time you have as your brain finds itself enjoying the present, the birds singing, the smell of the flowers, and the color of the leaves. You may start noticing subtle smiles and looks from people all around you. And welcome to inner peace. Thank you for watching. And please subscribe now.
You don't have to do the subscribe bit. Okay, I just really like the simplicity of that particular video. One of the things that I will just bring into introduction here is that meditation and mindfulness, and I think there is a little level of confusion in the market where around the, well, is meditation mindfulness, is mindfulness meditation? So to put it simply, meditation is the practice when you can do mindfulness meditation. That's probably the best way to say it. Okay, so meditation is a form of mindfulness. So for a moment, I'm just going to talk about mindfulness at work. First I'm going to talk about what mindfulness is, which you have all said, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining it. So this is a definition by Jon Kabat-Zinn, who is one of the major founders of the mindfulness movement as we know it today. He started a program called the Mind-Body Stress Reduction Program. It's a global program. It's usually run over 8 weeks. It's quite clinical in its approach, so quite formalized and quite clinical, but has a lot of benefit. And a lot of research that's done around mindfulness comes from his work. So he defines mindfulness, it means paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. What we find with the mind, the nature of the mind and thinking is that it's mercurial. It's not necessarily something we choose to do. Just for a moment, I'm just going to take you into a very quick practice. If I just get you all to just simply close your eyes. Just simply close your eyes. Nothing else to do, just close your eyes. And I just want you to just notice what happens when you close your eyes. Just for 30 seconds. Okay, and when you're ready, you can just open your eyes again. Now, I just want you to raise your hands if you heard some motorbikes outside. Great. Okay, I want you to raise your hand if you felt any sensations in your body. Fabulous, great. And I want to raise your hand if you had any thoughts during that process. Did you actually think? Okay. So that is the nature of the mind. The mind will always think. That is its process. But it's not that we're actually necessarily choosing our own thoughts. And in the practice of mindfulness, we can come back through being in the present moment and observe what our thoughts are. So it's recognizing that we are not our thoughts. So we can have something like 70,000 thoughts a day. That's how mercurial our minds can be. And some of them are repetitive patterns that just constantly play in the background without us even being aware of what they are. Through the practice of mindfulness, you can come more connected to those deeper as you practice it more. It's like going to the gym. You go to the gym the first time you go and do your cardio workout, you know, take 2 minutes, but after a couple of months of going, you can practice, you've got a greater build up and you can go for longer and your breath's deeper and you're not so tired. Mindfulness is a similar practice. Through the practice of mindfulness, you'll be able to relax your body and your mind a lot more and have more space to be present. So, so the benefits of mindfulness, I've put this as a generalization, but this all relates to work, and I will go specifically into work. So it assists to establish inner peace. So I'm assuming some of you have jobs where you have to have meetings with other people. Sometimes they're not always easy meetings. The people are not always easy. So by establishing inner peace, it's an easier process to communicate in difficult situations. It's just one of the things. So it allows you to step back and observe more of what is going on without reacting. So it allows us to detach from our thoughts. Also, the nature of the thinking mind is it's usually in the present or the past. Sorry, it's usually in the past or in the future. If you really come away from your thoughts and notice what they are, so next time you do close your eyes, maybe when you open them again, write down what your thoughts, what things were in your mind, and actually have a look at them. Just notice what they are. What were those thoughts? Were they, oh, breakfast tomorrow, or I'm meeting up with my friends next week, or just noticing the nature of what your thoughts are will really help you to notice that they're not present to now. And it also improves balance and happiness, because really the only time we actually have is now. We don't have the past and we don't have the future. And at the moment there is a worldwide epidemic around anxiety and depression. It's very prevalent, especially in the West. I'm sure you'd all be aware of this. And mostly it relates to the fact that the mind is not here. We're not present, we're just somewhere else. So through this practice, you'll be able to be more connected to the present moment. So that's a lot of words, isn't it? Anyway, the neuroscience of mindfulness. There's quite a lot of study done around the neuroscience, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I understand the corporate world want the scientific knowledge for it to be valid. So we touch on it. So this study is done by various universities, most of them in the United States, and most of them were on the 8-week MB. Those, one of them is called the ACC, which is the anterior cingulate cortex. It's located in the behind the frontal lobe in the brain, and it's responsible for self-regulation and your decision making, and it's also it's directly affected through the practice of mindfulness. So you can increase your ability to regulate how you respond to things. So the other area is the hippocampus, which is part of the limbic system and is more related to stress. It's connected to the stress hormone cortisol. And people who have chronic stress will tend to have a smaller hippocampus. So through the practice of mindfulness, you can increase the hippocampus, or the grey matter of the brain. And this is scientifically proven. So raise your hand if you've ever read a book and you've read a page on a book and you've got to the end and you've gone, I have to go and read that again. Because I just really, my mind was, I don't know, somewhere else. So that's what we call autopilot. It's the awareness that the mind is just on its own plateau doing its own thing. The best part about that I believe is that we can start to realize that we are not our thoughts, and that in itself is extremely liberating. Yeah, when you realize you're not your thoughts. Just even sitting with that and sort of contemplating what that means to you, I believe can be life-changing. Yeah. So in autopilot, our attention's placed either on the past or the future. Often the experience is distraction, and especially in today's world, we've got, things like just social media in itself is such a distraction. The minute we get up, hands up if first thing you do is grab your phone. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us are guilty of it, yeah? It's just natural today that we feel, and the thing with that is that straight away our energy goes out to the world. So in that process of taking our energy and focus, wherever we focus, our attention will go, we are taking ourselves out to others and not to ourselves. So through the practice of mindfulness, you can start your day by putting your attention on yourself and then taking your energy out and to other people as you would do at work. On autopilot, we tend to be judgmental. The nature of the mind is judgment. It's judgment, it's analytical, critical. The whole nature of thinking is judgment. So to recognize when, sometimes people say to me, how do I get out of my head and into my heart? Sometimes it's hard to recognize which plane we're working from. However, if you just look at the nature of what it is, if it's judgmental, it's bound to be in the head. It's a very simple way of looking at it. And we tend to also operate from old patterns and habits that may no longer service us, they may no longer work for us. One of the things I'm passionate about and I do is astrology, and at the moment there's such strong astrological energy happening in the universe. It's just amazing, and we can't help but we are all part of that, whether we believe it or not. It is part of what's going on, and it is about changing old patterns. So I think, Andrea, you said this. So between stimulus and response, this is a quote by Viktor Frankl, who's also written some quite good books on mindfulness. Between stimulus and response, there's a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So it's through the practice of mindfulness, you create space between what you are actually, between you and your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. So the practice of mindfulness, and I call it a practice. Personally, I have had a mindfulness practice that was introduced to me by a lady here in Bali. It was technically it's breath work, but I have found it so beneficial. And I think it was this time last year, Kashfi, I taught breath work here on Monday mornings. Yeah, and I loved it. And it's such a simple thing to do, but it's a really great way to practice mindfulness. So mindfulness is quite an informal practice. That's the beauty of it. You can do it anywhere. It can take as little as 30 seconds. You can notice by quietening your mind. You don't have to close your eyes, but I find personally with mindfulness, if I close my eyes, it naturally takes me inwards. Whereas if your eyes are open, you're more out in the world. So to close your eyes, even if it's for 30 seconds, and I'll take you through a practice in just a second. Sit wherever you feel alert. Just raise your hand if you haven't done any meditation at all, please, before. Never? Okay. Okay, good. Okay, a myth about meditation. There's no right or wrong way to sit, be. There really isn't. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what position you are in, as long as you are comfortable and you are alert. So the key being alert. If you fall asleep, it's not. Lie down, so we'll be sitting up. So just for now, I just want you to just close your eyes and place your hands on. Deep inhale and a full exhale. Let all the air out. Sometimes it's easy to let the air out by opening your mouth. And one more. Inhale and exhale. Now just opening your eyes. That was a mindfulness exercise just called 3 breaths. It's that simple. It doesn't even take 30 seconds. Did anybody notice in that process the thing I like about the breath exercise is because the mind's up here, when we breathe, we naturally come away from the mind. It brings us into our bodies and out of our heads. That's why the breath, a lot of mindfulness will talk about breathing because it's about single pointed focus. And if you focus on your breathing, you come down into your body and away from your head. Yeah, so that creates the space between what is happening in my head, what am I thinking, do you know what I mean? And just coming back to present moment awareness, which is what mindfulness is. It's present moment awareness without judgment. So did anyone have any questions or anything that popped up in that process? Anything on nice and easy? Yeah? I'll go through this. One of the other exercises, there's a couple of things. There's another exercise called SBNRR, and I can write it down for you, which basically stands for stop, breathe, noticed, respond, reflect and respond. So if you're at work and you're in a difficult situation, maybe you're in a meeting and somebody's emotionally charged or something's going on, by coming by using stop BNRR, you can basically stop where you're at, breathe, notice what's going on, because whatever response this person's having probably has nothing to do with you. Most likely it's not relevant to you. And then you can take the time to reflect on what's really going on and respond. So the other practices we use in mindfulness is you can do something simple. They're so simple. You can do mindful walking. So you can just stand up from your desk. Say you've got to go to the photocopier and you've got something to do. You're at work, you've got something to do, you've got to go and get a copy, you've got to go and see someone at reception, you've got to go to a meeting. Even you can have your meetings doing mindful walking. So everyone just stand up for a second and we'll all just do a little bit of just mindful walking. We'll just walk around. So what it takes is like to really notice the movement of your body. So like what goes down first? Is it the heel that goes first and then the sole of the foot and then you come onto the toes and the back? So just really just notice what your body is doing in the process of actually walking. Most mindfulness practices will allow you to slow down, which is also the opposite to the world today. So we're balancing out the speediness and the busyness of our lives and balancing it with the slow, steady pace of being present. Just noticing, nice and slow, just noticing what's happening. Where are your arms, for example? What's happening to your arms, your fingers? Is your jaw nice and relaxed? Have you got any thoughts, pressing thoughts in your mind now? Can you ask them to can you just put them aside for later? Just gently just move them to the side. So when you're ready, just come back to your seat. I have no idea what time it is. So just to be aware that the nature of the mind is to wander. It will the thoughts will come and they will go and they will come. That is the nature of them. And through the practice of mindfulness, we can learn to either keep thoughts or hold on to them. And the key is to imagine that they're passing clouds. Thoughts are just passing clouds, or motorbikes in the street. People are just going past. We don't have to necessarily take notice of them. They're just moving past. Yeah? It's like, oh, there's that thought. Oh, there it goes. And it's the process of holding on to it. But once we connect to the thought, that's when we'll start to get into spirals. So through the practice of mindfulness, you can realize that you don't have to hold on to that thought. It's not necessary. Or maybe not necessary now. You could park it for later. If something important comes to your mind from nowhere, sometimes that happens, you can ask yourself, do I need this thought right now? If not, you can park it for later and come back to it. That's the beauty of mindfulness. So one of the things that I really love doing is mindful eating. And this is something you can just practice at home with your family, you know, like even in the office you can just, you know, get together, have lunch and do mindful eating. Because when you eat mindfully, it's a whole different experience, I think, as Jazz was saying, than it is to just eating your food. Like especially today because we're all on the run. How many people eat their food at their desk? Raise your hand if you eat your food at your desk. Yeah. Even the nutrition value is less when you don't take notice of what you're eating. You will increase your nutrition into your body when you are connected to what you're actually eating. So I've got some food here. So I'm just going to pass it around. This is dragon fruit. So please take one. Sorry, I haven't got quite enough of this but this is a chocolate brownie from the cafe, so I don't mind what people want to take. I'm going to go this way. All right. So just take. You hope it gets to you, Andrea. So, oh yes, and here's some serviettes. We'll pass those around as well. Yeah. So, yeah, sorry, I should have passed him first. Bit stuck. Oh, too much in there. You're all right. You still got it? Oh, you're supposed to wait. Just wait. No, just wait. Just wait. Okay, everybody, when you're ready, it's all right. So now, what I want you to do is just to, when you're ready, just pick up the food and just notice the texture. Notice the texture. What is the texture of what you're eating? What is it made up of? Where does it come from? Just like contemplate those questions before you then pick it up and actually taste it. And in the process of tasting, really like feel your teeth go into what it is that you're eating. Allow the taste, your whole tongue to sort of like radiate and feel the taste of what you're actually eating. And really just be present to eating that beautiful piece of nourishing food, whatever you chose. Was there enough?
Thankfully.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Well, that worked out well. Kashfi, darling, can we get to the other video, darling, please? So, did anybody notice anything? Like, was it different? Yeah.
I noticed when I started tasting this piece that it had different tastes and on different parameters. I mean, it wasn't all the same.
Yeah. It changed.
It
Yeah.
changed as I moved it around. It had different tastes, and then of course when I bit into it, the flavor just burst out. It was kind of like like an LSD experience.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. But can you see how that's quite a different experience to when you sit and eat your lunch at the desk? Yeah? And it actually doesn't take a lot longer. It really doesn't take a lot longer. And the beauty of this very simple mindfulness practice, and one of my very favourite mindfulness practices, and we are at Hubud, and I wouldn't practice this in every workplace environment because in Australia they'd probably freak them out. But I'm going to demonstrate with Kashfi if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah.
One of my is mindful hugging. Mindful hugging, because today it's all very, hey, it's like no. Mindful hugging is when you really come into your heart and feel into your being before you connect to the person who's in front of you. So I'm just going to give Kashfi a mindful hug. So that's one of the things I personally love in a person just outside of work, but I just feel like it just really makes a difference to connecting to myself before. Because one of the things about mindfulness is it's present moment awareness, but we cannot be present to someone else without first being present to ourselves. So it comes back to being present to ourselves first. So you would have noticed at the beginning of today that when you were talking to each other, the process of even listening, mindful listening is really powerful, especially in workplaces, but it requires bringing your attention to the present moment and actually really being with that person and really listening to what they have to say. These are very simple practices. They're really practical. There's nothing out of the ordinary here. They're everyday things that you do, but it's just practicing them. So I use the word practice because practice is powerful. If we don't practice, and it's through the practice that we train the mind to become more still and we have more peace. It's pretty simple. I'm going to finish with a little video from Russell Brand, who I'm sure you all know. Do you all know Russell Brand? Yeah? He's a comedian?
Yeah.
Quite well-known comedian. I quite liked his, this is him on meditation, because we're going to finish with a very short meditation after this. Okay, so just, how do I press play like that?
Hello, it's me, or Russ. People are always asking me, how do you meditate? There's a variety of ways, but I'm going to now, in 2 minutes, just demonstrate some simple techniques for you. Firstly, have a loud panting dog immediately in the vicinity. Close the eyes. Sit in a comfortable position. And notice where you hold tension in your body. I have a tendency to hold tension in my jaw, or a forehead, in my abdomen. Try to consciously let go of this tension. You don't have to sort of pretend to be all spiritual. Meditation should just be a simple thing. Once you're comfortable and relaxed, become aware of your breath. Or the breath, the golden retriever. Whilst I enjoy breath-based meditation, I prefer mantra meditation. I find it easy to focus. Say, I was focusing on a word like flower. You don't cling to that word, you just silently, inwardly repeat the word flower. Not out loud now, that's in your little mind. Flower. And if you're anything like me, you'll go flower. That's not what I mean. A bit hungry actually, I should have some dinner. I'm supposed to be thinking the word flower. A lot of people think that's an obstacle to meditation. Well, that, in fact, is the process of meditation itself. The mind has a tendency to just stray, but we don't assert or exert or try to apply additional tension or pressure to the mind. We lovingly return to the word flower, flower, or any word, you know, probably not a negative word. You don't want to sit there thinking Nuremberg or nice cry. Just think the word is neutral. When you notice that your thoughts have strayed from the word, return to the word. It's time. Start slow, you know, maybe just 5 minutes. Set yourself a little time on the phone that doesn't have a belligerent ring at the end of it. Afford yourself it. There are many apps that are brilliant to keep it going. Headspace is good. Jacob Stevenson on YouTube, try those things out too. But first we make fun of yourself and walk and try mantra meditation. You will discover that you are not your continual flow of thoughts. You are the witness and observer of thoughts. And there is a reassurance in us. Let me know how you get on with meditation. Send us your comments. And keep calm. It's going to be alright. Because that part of you that's watching your thoughts, I'm feeling that's the part of us that abides.
Okay, so I really like his simplistic approach to what meditation is, because I think there's also some confusion around what meditation is, in that we need to completely still our minds, and it's very, even the most well-known yogis in the world, they may spend some amount of time in complete stillness, but it won't be it'll be different every time. You know, the nature of the mind is that thoughts will come and thoughts will go. It's like Russell said, it's taking it back to the present moment, whether that be through the consciousness of your breath or through using a word. It doesn't matter. It's bringing your own awareness gently also, because remember, judgment and critical, anything judgment and critical tends to be of the mind. Yeah? So it's just doing it with just gentle awareness. And I can tell you this absolutely works, because through my own practices, I went and did a conference in Australia, and we had to sit with like things that measure your thoughts, like a band thing that you put on your head, and you had to sit in front of this picture and focus, and then that sort of made the thing move. And I was the fastest person in that space of all finance conference people of like 600 people. I was the only person under 10 seconds. And I swear that's because I do mindfulness, because I don't imagine there's anything else that I do differently to those other people in that room. But I absolutely was able to really get that single pointed focusness through my practices. I use breath work, but it is a form of meditation. And it doesn't matter what you use. The apps I think apps are great, and this is some resources. Apps have a purpose. Personally, for me, once I start touching my phone, I'm out in the world. So I prefer to do something where I don't touch my phone, but obviously things like Headspace has some great meditations on it, great mindfulness practices that you can do. They're good resources to use if you feel confident that you can switch that on and then just do your practice. Calm's another one. It's just got some really good things around being calm. Some books. These are not necessarily, I don't know where you can buy them in Bali, I'm sorry. I can't really tell you where you can buy them here, but they're all books that are relevant to mindfulness. Real Happiness at Work, The Happiness Trap, and Man's Search for Meaning, and The Science of Meditation. That's just 4 books that we can suggest you do. So I'm going to finish on a short meditation for you all. And yeah, that will be. And then how much time do I need to leave for questions? It's 16 past. I'm just going to do a quick 5-minute meditation. I'll leave the resources there. Has everybody? Okay. So now, just finding yourself in a comfortable seated position. If you're not comfortable, it's a bit tricky, isn't it? In this environment, we just have to do our best. You know what I mean? Just somewhere where you can feel you can just relax for like 5 minutes. I'm just going to take you through a brief guided meditation. So when you're ready, just closing your eyes. There's something I noticed around Bali. We have a lot of Buddhas. And if you ever notice the Buddha eyes are very calm. And so if you see if you can focus on actually having Buddha eyes, just really relaxed. Noticing your jaw, relaxing your jaw, releasing any tension. Eyes are soft, jaw's relaxed, and just taking your awareness into your breath. This is a balancing meditation. It's a chakra meditation. So we're going to come to the base of the spine. So where you're sitting on your seat, and if you just imagine that the seat you're sitting on is of a red colour, so the colour of deep red earth. And this, sitting on this cushion, imagine this cushion is spinning in an anti-clockwise direction at the base of your sit bones, and it's red. And now I want you to focus on saying to yourself, I am safe. I am safe. Focusing on the red colour in an anti-clockwise movement, I am safe. This is the base chakra, the chakra to do with safety and grounding and balance. So you're just really feeling that beautiful red colour spinning at the base of your spine. And then from just noticing I am safe, repeating those words to you, I am safe, I am safe. If the mind wanders, it's very normal. Just gently encourage the mind to come back to the words, I am safe. And then now just coming up above the pubic bone, where the belly, where we had our hands for the belly before, and just imagine that you've got an orange, like an orange piece, like the fruit orange, just sitting in this space, and it's moving in a clockwise direction this time. And we say to ourselves, I am creative. I am creative. And just focusing on those words, see if you can imagine the orange. Maybe you want to imagine a basketball or a piece of fruit or just the colour orange moving in a clockwise direction. I am creative. I am creative. And then from there, coming up just above the belly button and underneath the rib cage. And imagine here you have the sun. It's the brightest sun you can imagine. It's just the most radiating bright yellow sun sitting inside of you. And it's moving in an anti-clockwise direction. Bright yellow, radiant sunshine sitting inside of you. And the words we use, I am worthy. I am worthy. Just keep repeating those words. Remember the mind's tendency to wander, just gently bring it back. Imagine the yellow moving in an anti-clockwise direction, so vibrant, so powerful, so invigorating. I am worthy. I am worthy. And then from there coming up to the heart space, which is just above, everyone knows where the heart is. And I want you to imagine an emerald green colour. So the colour of a deep emerald green, spinning in a clockwise direction through your heart, around your heart, different veins pumping down through your heart. Imagine the beautiful emerald green, the opening of your heart. And the words we use here is, I am love. I am love. Imagining the green, it's the most beautiful, rich, deep forest emerald green, and it's moving in a clockwise direction around your heart. I am love. I am love. And next we come up to the throat. And here we can imagine wearing a scarf, and the colour of the scarf is aqua blue, a bit like the colour of the slides today. So it's aqua blue colour. So imagine you wrap this scarf around your neck and it's moving in an anti-clockwise direction, this beautiful aqua blue. And we say to ourselves, I am truth. I am truth. I am truth. And really feel that beautiful, vibrant aqua blue colour wrapped around your throat and moving in an anti-clockwise direction. I am truth. I am truth. Then taking the focus to the point in between, on the forehead, just above the eyebrows, in the center of the eyebrows, focusing on what's called the third eye. And here we're imagining a purple color moving in a clockwise direction. And here we say, I see. So the words we use are, I see, I see, I see. Imagine a beautiful purple, it's like an aubergine color, just moving in a clockwise direction in your third eye. I see, I see. And then finally taking the awareness to the crown on the top of your head and imagining a stream of violet light coming from above directly down into the point at the crown of your head, and the words you use are I am, I am, I am. Focus on this beautiful violet stream of light coming down from above and radiating to the crown on your head, and the words are I am, I am. And just staying with a few moments, focusing on those simple words, I am, I am. If the mind's super busy, you can take the awareness down to your breath. If you notice your breath, that will help to still the mind. I am, I am. And when you're ready, I want you to bring your hands together and just gently rub your hands together. Place them across your eyes, over your eyes, and then very gently open your eyes and open your fingers so it's not too much of a shock when you come out. So for those people who haven't meditated before, Yeah? Is okay?
Yeah.
The mind would be busy.
Thinking a lot of things, but
Yeah.
I try.
Very normal. It's very normal. It is, the more you do it, the more the mind will start to relax and come, and it does quieten down, I promise you. It's like anything you practice, it definitely becomes easier and the mind becomes less busy. Did anyone have any questions from that? Anything happen from that? Anything they wanted to share at all? Yeah?
I just want to say thank you so much, Donna, for the presentation. It brings back what happened last year with you, like having your breath work and everything, and it was so nice. I might say when you're here, I've done a lot of meditation because, I'm more aware of that. And then I also did the Search Inside Yourself program, and it was super nice. They told us about how mindfulness is also related to the, they kind of like relate the mindfulness with the neuroscience.
Quite a lot.
So it all makes sense in some way. So after that, I also kind of like doing the meditation, but this past 2 months, I guess, like I've never done any meditation again. And when I did that again today, it's very helpful for me to kind of like more focus on one thing, and that's what I'm trying to do starting today. Like, I don't know, I just want to start figuring out, like be more organized on stuff. So I've done this, and I guess it just brings back the memory that I was like, mindfulness is really works, and it's really helped me in some way to be more organized and be more focused on what I'm doing. So I think I'm going to do a lot more meditation for myself.
Excellent, Kashfi. That is great. Thank you so much, Kashfi. And the thing is, it does increase productivity because, like I said before, mindfulness, when you notice if you're reading something and you got to the end of the page, you've gone, oh my God, I didn't get any of that, I've got to go back and read that. That's non-productive, yeah? When you get into mindfulness and you really are able to be present, you can just be so much more productive because the mind is not wandering out so much. And it is through the simple practice of doing things like meditations and breath work. I may, when I come back, if Hoodwood's interested, do some breathwork sessions. Go with the flow. So I just want to thank everybody. Thank you so much for sitting through this with me. This is actually my first presentation as Donna Grace. I've got a few brands around the place. So thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah. Do you have any practical tips how to like apply mindfulness in terms of digital business where your staffs are all on across the
Through the apps. I mean, the apps would be, I'm going to look at doing some of my own meditations. So sort of like I am looking at doing a series of meditations that I will take out to my corporate clients, but I haven't done them yet. I'm in the process of doing that. So, but otherwise, if you just stick with like mindful breathing, even just the 3 breaths, if you just use that, like so maybe every day at work you just choose a simple practice, like today is mindful breathing, tomorrow might be mindful walking, that will still help to bring you to the practice of mindfulness. There's many ways to do it. Does that?
But yeah, I mean, like, what about how to apply it in a small group? I mean, where your VA are like all.
So at the beginning of your meeting, for example, or maybe you start your day. There's companies I know that start their day. They start together and they just do a quick 5-minute meditation. Yeah.
We're not actually on the same physical place.
Right. So then you could do it online. Do you know what I mean? Through links and apps, or Skype can also be used, but it's a bit tricky. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's probably better to actually just use it through an app or a link. And so you just make the decision that at the same time you're all going to get together and do that practice, because it takes the cloudiness away. Do you know what I mean? And if you all agree to do it, I recently met because I did the Search Inside Yourself course in Sydney just in July, and there was this gentleman there who was in Australia we have men that are very masculine, very not interested in mindfulness, and I would never have thought he was interested in mindfulness, and he's got a very masculine job, like a lot of trade people, and that's his staff. So he's got them to do meditation because he does it. So it has to come from leadership, is what I'm going to say about it as well. Because if it doesn't, if leadership are not sort of promoting it or advocates of it, it probably won't work. But if you can make an agreement that at certain times you do certain practices, just once a day, maybe you do it at the beginning and the end of the day, and you make a decision, and you don't have to spend a lot of time. It really can just be 5 minutes. And I'd be happy to sort of talk about getting some meditations to you if you wish.
Maybe I also want to add what I learned from the program itself and what we apply here at Ubud before we start the meeting. Usually we have a moment to arrive. That's what the program told us. So before you start the meeting,
it's a good idea.
Team, so you're just gonna be like, hey, before we start, we want put all your minds to be here. I mean, like, and then we are going to have a moment to arrive. So a moment to arrive is the time when you kind of like close your eyes, take a deep breath, aware that you know that you're going to have a meeting, and what is your main focus for that meeting. And then, you know, after that, let's say after 3 breaths, and then you open your eyes, and then you start your meeting.
And
so
it's that simple.
That's really helpful, actually, to kind of like put your mindset that you're here in the meeting with your team, and then that's what are you going to do on that meeting. So that's what we used to do actually before we start the meeting. It's really it's very helpful, I might say, so you know what's your main focus on for today.
And then everyone's present.
And everyone present to be at the
connected to the meeting. Yeah, that's a beautiful mindfulness practice, and it's that simple. So I don't know if you feel maybe I haven't given enough simple practices, but really it's as simple as mindful walking, 3 breaths.
Yeah, I'll actually want to thank you for the presentation, because I've been practicing mindfulness for the last 2 years, and it took a lot of reading up to really simplify it to this level. And I think it was a wonderful presentation that you've given all of us with tools which is so simple that
thank you.
people almost like, it's something you can do every day.
Yeah,
and it's always made complicated generally by people. So
I like to be simple.
Really
I'm very aware of my my focus is to make things simple, and I do the same with astrology. I try and make astrology simple. Astrology is one of those things that people just go, oh my God, it's so complicated. But it doesn't have to be, and I believe in simplicity. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Donna, would you mind just going over again what we say to ourselves when we're doing chakra meditation?
Sure. Yeah, sure. So the base chakra is I am safe. And then the sacral chakra is I am creative, which is the color orange. And the solar plexus is I am worthy. The I am worthy one can be quite confronting for a lot of people. And then the heart is I am love. You can add to that I am loved, I love, but I kept it simple, I am love. And then the throat chakra is I am truth. And the third eye is I see. And I am. Yeah. Okay, did anyone have any more questions? All right, thank you all so much for being present. I'm very grateful, thank you. That's my contact details if you, I haven't got websites out yet because Donna Grace is evolving. so she's an evolution. We haven't got websites yet, so yeah. But I do, one of my passions is astrology, and as I said, I like to make it simple, so if you have any questions around that, I do my best to make it really simple, and a tool for you to understand your own makeup of who you are, which is really all astrology does. Yeah. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Did I go over time, under time? I was perfect.